Okay, so there's this woman, right? Lada Duncheva, her YouTube name is, and she subscribed to my channel about 9 months ago, and she's one of those people that subscribes to loads of people's channels, and I couldn't really see much about her channel that was that interesting, and because you know when I quite often, if people subscribe to my channel, I generally subscribe back. Not always, but mostly, I generally subscribe back. Pretty much, unless somebody give me some reason not to, or uh, or I just find they haven't got anything much going on in their channel, that they're not making videos or something like that. Then and they don't do. There's no real stuff going on in their channel. Then I might not subscribe back then. But most, if I don't, obviously if I don't know who's subscribed, then obviously I can't subscribe back. I don't know who it is. Um, but mostly I subscribe back to people's channels. Um, just kind of on principle. No real main reason. I just sort of like, if I think if people subscribe to my channel, then it's sort of like, I know it's a natural thing. If somebody likes you, you tend to like them back. So it's a bit like that. I don't do it automatically, but I check people's channel out. I usually go to there, watch one or two of their videos, and I think, yeah, that seems like a decent person. I'll subscribe back. Anyway, so this person, they Lada Duncheva, um, I subscribed back to her channel, but then where she was subscribing to so many other channels, it was taking up so much time on my feed. And I do unsubscribe to people if they're using up too much space on my feed. And it's not. It ends up annoying me, so I just unsubscribe just to get so I can, get a more balanced view of things. Because otherwise, if they're taking up too much time, I'm having to sort through all this stuff every time I go on my feed. And loads of videos I don't want to see. And she was subscribing to so many channels that she was taking up too much time on my feed, so I unsubscribed. But I just looked at one of her videos because I've got like an Aries. Aries is important in my channel. I've got an Aries ascendant. If you haven't been able to work it out already, I've got an Aries ascendant, right? And so so I just looked at her horoscope reading for 2015 for Aries ascendant, and I really am impressed with her readings. Um, Virtually all the astrologers, they always talk about your sun signs mainly, and that she's the only one I've found so far who concentrates on your ascendant more. Now that's the real, that I already knew that. That is the real key to your astrology. It's like 50% of the importance of your horoscope is your rising sign, your ascendant, and your sun sign is maybe only about 20%. You know, and so it's much more important. And people, a lot of people don't have no idea about that. So I'd like people to, doing these around the multiverse trip, to find out what their ascendant is. Now, if you don't know your time of birth, and you've got no way of finding out your time of birth, you can do it by rectification. There's a process called rectification. You need to get a very good astrologer, and I don't know anything about this because I already know. I know what time I'm born. I've never had to look into it myself, but I would imagine it would probably cost up to 5 times what a normal horoscope would cost, or 3 times or something. I don't think it would be cheap, because they'd have to do quite a lot of work to find out what your ascendant is. But you could also do it yourself if you really applied yourself. You not only would it be worthwhile to do it yourself, you would also learn a lot about astrology in the meantime. And there are ways you can do it by plotting the horoscopes of or the concepts of like where, say for example, Jupiter and Saturn are going to be, and work out what years you've been affected positively and sort of like negatively in various of these houses you could really work it out. You could do it yourself. Rectification isn't that difficult. It's just hard work and a lot of work. And more or less anyone could do it. You just have to remember, especially if you're the person whose horoscope it is. As long as you're going to be prepared to work out, do a bit of study into astrology, you could work out you'll be the best person to actually work out what your ascendant is by looking at the movement of Jupiter, which goes through each house 1 year at a time, and Saturn, which takes 2.5 years to go through a house. So or sign. So yeah, you could do it yourself. It'd take quite a lot of work to work it all out, but just using your memory and stuff, you could easily find out what your ascendant is over a course of like probably about 40 hours work. But in the meantime, you'd also find out a lot about astrology as well. So it should be worthwhile adding to this process that we've been doing. So yeah, I'm going to leave a link to her channel. And I recommend you go and check out find out what your rising sign is if you don't know it already, and go and do your reading for next year, 2015, on her channel. That's a really good thing. It helps. We're still dealing with the physical plane, right? We're on the higher learning. This is the mercy aspect, right? So today, day 17, we're in the sphere of mercy, and this is your 40 minutes of probably about 30 minutes. Her readings are about 30 minutes. So including this video, go and watch your ascendant, I think 2015 prediction forecast, and that's your work for today. That's the mercy for today.